The massive screen at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station lit up with countless red dots. John Miller, the lead operator on duty, rubbed his tired eyes and looked again. The dots were still there, moving in perfect formation toward Earth. His hand shook as he reached for the emergency alert button. "Sir, you need to see this," John called out to his supervisor, who rushed over immediately. They both stared at the screen, watching as more than 1,000 ships entered the solar system. Within hours, every major news channel across the globe broadcast the same message: "We are not alone." Military bases worldwide went into high alert as the unknown fleet crossed Jupiter's orbit. Admiral James Parker stood in the United Earth Defense Force Command Center, surrounded by screens showing the approaching armada. "How long until they reach Earth?" he asked, his voice steady despite the tension in the room. "At their current speed, 4 days, sir," a young officer replied. The admiral nodded, his gray hair and weathered face reflecting decades of military experience. Yet nothing in his career had prepared him for this moment. Humanity had long wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now they had their answer, but it wasn't the peaceful first contact they had hoped for. The first transmission arrived exactly 3 hours later. The massive holographic display in the command center crackled to life, showing a tall, humanoid figure in ornate armor. Its skin had a metallic sheen, and its eyes glowed with an unnatural purple light. Primitive species of Earth, the alien spoke in perfect English, its voice filled with contempt. "I am Supreme Commander of the Galactic Imperial Fleet. Your world now belongs to the Empire. Surrender immediately and accept your place as our subjects, or face complete annihilation." The room fell silent. Admiral Parker stepped forward, his face showing no fear. "This is Admiral James Parker of the United Earth Defense Force. We receive your message, but Earth belongs to humanity. We will not surrender." The alien commander laughed, the sound like metal scraping against metal. "Your bravery is amusing but foolish. Our empire spans 10,000 worlds. Your primitive weapons cannot harm our ships. You have 4 Earth days to reconsider. Choose wisely." The transmission ended, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Admiral Parker turned to his officers. "Send word to every nation. We need an emergency global council meeting now." Within 6 hours, leaders from every country gathered virtually. The situation was clear. Earth faced its greatest threat, and they needed to work together or die separately. Old enemies became allies as countries shared their most advanced military technologies and resources. Scientists worked around the clock, studying the alien ships from afar. Their energy readings were off the charts, suggesting weapons far beyond Earth's current technology. But one scientist noticed something interesting. All their ships used the same type of quantum communication system. "Sir," a young lieutenant interrupted Admiral Parker's thoughts. "You should see this." He handed over a tablet showing detailed scans of the alien fleet. "Their ships are powerful, but they all rely on the same basic technology. If we can disrupt one system, we might be able to disrupt them all." Parker finished, a small smile forming on his face. He immediately called an emergency meeting with Earth's top scientists and military strategists. As the alien fleet drew closer, Earth prepared for war. Military bases were converted into decoy sites, while real weapons were hidden underground. Civilians moved into protective bunkers, and factories worked non-stop to produce weapons and supplies. Admiral Parker stood at his command post on the final night before the deadline, watching the sunset. Tomorrow, humanity would face its greatest challenge. But looking at how the world had united, how quickly they had adapted and prepared, he felt a surge of pride. The aliens thought humans were primitive and weak. Soon, they would learn just how wrong they were. The first battle for Earth's survival would begin at dawn. The underground bunker buzzed with activity as Earth's best minds worked to find a way to fight back. Colonel Mary Roberts walked between rows of computers, watching scientists analyze data from the alien fleet. Her blue eyes narrowed as she studied the latest readings. "Look at this pattern," she said, pointing to a screen where Dr. Thomas Wilson sat hunched over his keyboard. The physicist pushed his glasses up and leaned closer. Every ship pulses with the same quantum frequency. It's like they're all connected to one network. Dr. Wilson's eyes lit up. That's it. Their whole fleet operates like one giant quantum computer. Efficient, but, he typed rapidly, bringing up more data. If we could disrupt that network, we could blind their entire fleet at once. Mary finished. She immediately grabbed her phone to call Admiral Parker. Above ground, the world prepared for war. Cities transformed into fortresses. Engineers converted sports stadiums into emergency shelters. Farmers moved their livestock underground into massive caves. The aliens would find no easy targets when they arrived. In the Sahara Desert, workers built hundreds of fake military bases. Each one looked real from space, but held nothing valuable inside. Similar decoys appeared in the Australian outback, the American Midwest, and the Siberian plains. Meanwhile, Dr. Wilson's team worked nonstop on their quantum disruption device. The breakthrough came at 3 a.m. when they tested it on a small scale. The device sent out waves that interfered with quantum communications, but they discovered something strange. It affected the alien technology, but had no effect on human brains. It's because our brains process quantum information differently. Dr. Wilson explained to Colonel Roberts and Admiral Parker. The aliens built their technology to match their biology. They never considered that another species might work differently. Admiral Parker smiled. So we have a weapon they won't expect, and can't defend against. How soon can you make more? With every factory helping. 2 days. Maybe 3. You have 2, Parker said firmly. The aliens arrive in 3. Colonel Roberts organized the distribution plan. They needed to hide quantum disruptors all over the planet. Teams worked day and night, installing them in secret locations. Some went deep underwater. Others were hidden high in mountains. All waited for the signal to activate. But they needed more than just the disruptors. Earth's armies prepared their conventional weapons too. Tanks rolled into hidden caves. Jets waited in underground hangars. Submarines patrolled the deep oceans. Everything had to look normal from space to make the aliens think Earth wasn't ready. The hardest part was keeping their plans secret. They knew the aliens could probably monitor Earth's communications, so they spread fake plans on purpose, talking openly about weapons that didn't exist and defenses they didn't plan to use. Colonel Roberts created a fake war room that would be easy for alien scans to find. Inside, officers pretended to plan a desperate last stand using old technology. The real command center moved deep underground, protected by layers of quantum-shielded rock. 2 days before the alien deadline, Dr. Wilson delivered the last quantum disruptor. They had built over 1,000 devices, all waiting for the right moment. Tests showed they would work perfectly, but they only had one chance to surprise the enemy. Will this really work? Colonel Roberts asked Dr. Wilson as they watched the last device being installed. He nodded slowly. The science is solid, but what's really going to shock them is how we think differently than they do. They believe their weight is the only way. That's their biggest weakness. On the final night of preparation, Admiral Parker called all Earth's leaders together one last time. Tomorrow, he said, they expect us to surrender. Instead, we're going to show them why you should never underestimate humans. We may not have their technology, but we have something better. We know how to think outside their box. As the sun set, humanity waited. Their trap was set. Now they just needed the aliens to spring it. The real test would begin at dawn. Dawn broke over Earth as the alien fleet entered attack position. Their massive ships darkened the sky, stretching from horizon to horizon. In the underground command center, Admiral Parker watched the main screen as thousands of red dots surrounded the planet. They're moving into attack formation, Colonel Roberts reported, her voice tense. The aliens had arranged their ships in a perfect geometric pattern, like a giant net around Earth. The alien transmission came right on schedule. The Supreme Commander's metallic face filled the screens, his purple eyes glowing with contempt. "Your time is up. Have you decided to surrender?" Admiral Parker stepped forward. "We have decided. Earth belongs to humanity. We will not bow to tyrants, no matter how powerful." "Then you choose extinction." The transmission cut off abruptly. Seconds later, the first energy beams struck Earth. They targeted what the aliens thought were military bases, the decoys in the desert. The fake installations exploded spectacularly, sending huge clouds of dust into the air. More beams followed, striking decoy bases around the world. "Hold position," Admiral Parker ordered as reports flooded in. "Let them think they're winning." The Imperial commander watched from his flagship as his weapons destroyed target after target. "Primitive fools," he muttered. They didn't even try to hide their bases. Confident in his victory, he made his first mistake. Split the fleet. Target their population centers next. Show them the price of defiance. The alien fleet broke into smaller groups, spreading out to attack major cities. This was exactly what Earth had waited for. But before Admiral Parker could give the signal, the aliens revealed their own surprise. Small fighter ships, thousands of them, poured out of the larger vessels. They dove into Earth's atmosphere, their energy weapons blazing. "Launch our jets," Parker commanded. "Keep them busy." Fighter planes roared out of hidden mountain hangars. They looked old and primitive compared to the alien ships, but Earth's pilots had trained for this moment. They flew low, using the terrain for cover, drawing the alien fighters into tight canyons and narrow valleys. An alien fighter screamed past the entrance to the Grand Canyon, chasing an American F-35. The alien pilot, sure of his superior technology, followed the Earth jet into the narrow space. He didn't notice the hidden anti-aircraft guns until they opened fire from both sides of the canyon. His advanced shields couldn't handle the simple, kinetic weapons, and his ship exploded. Similar scenes played out across the globe. Russian tanks emerged from forest cover to ambush alien ground forces. Chinese submarines launched missiles from underwater, striking the aliens from unexpected angles. Indian guerrilla units used simple jammers to confuse alien targeting systems. The Imperial commander raged as reports of resistance came in. "Impossible. Their weapons are centuries behind ours." But more reports followed. Dozens of his fastest ships destroyed by primitive projectile weapons, his best pilots outsmarted by inferior machines. In the command center, Colonel Roberts watched the battle unfold. "Sir, they've split their forces as planned. All ships are in position." Admiral Parker nodded grimly. "Commence Operation Blackout." Around the world, hidden quantum disruptors powered up. They sent waves of interference into space, targeting the exact frequency the alien ships used to communicate. At first, nothing seemed to happen. Then the alien fleet started to drift. Their perfect formation broke apart as ships lost contact with each other. Energy weapons powered down as their targeting systems failed. Fighter ships wandered aimlessly, unable to receive commands. "What is happening?" the Imperial commander demanded as his ship's systems flickered. "How are they doing this?" But this was just the beginning. Earth had shown its first card, but kept many others hidden. The real battle was about to begin, and humanity was ready to shock the galaxy. Admiral Parker allowed himself a small smile. "Send the word to all forces," he ordered. "Execute Phase 2. Let's show them what Earth can really do." The counterattack was about to begin. Dr. Wilson burst into the command center, clutching a tablet with new readings. "Admiral, you need to see this." He rushed to Admiral Parker's side, his face excited. "The quantum disruption is doing more than we expected. It's not just blocking their communications, it's affecting their minds." Colonel Roberts moved closer, studying the data. "Explain." "Their brains," Dr. Wilson pointed to the screen. "They're like their ships, connected to the quantum network. When we disrupt it, they can't think straight. But human brains," he grinned, "we're immune. Our quantum processing works differently." Admiral Parker immediately saw the advantage. How long until they adapt? They can't, Dr. Wilson replied. It's built into their biology. They've relied on quantum networks so long, they've evolved to depend on them. Without the network, they're confused, disoriented. On the main screen, they watched alien ships drift aimlessly. Some crashed into each other. Others fired weapons randomly into space. The mighty Imperial fleet had become a chaotic mess. But the Imperial commander wasn't finished. His flagship, running on backup systems, launched a desperate attack. If we can't have Earth, no one will. His ship's main weapon charged up, aiming at Earth's atmosphere. He's trying to trigger a chain reaction in our atmosphere, Colonel Roberts warned. If that blast hits, launch the EMP missiles, Admiral Parker ordered. Earth had prepared these special weapons, designed to look like normal nuclear missiles. But instead of explosives, they carried powerful electromagnetic pulse generators. The missiles streaked toward the Imperial flagship. The alien commander laughed at what he thought were primitive nuclear weapons. His shields could easily handle such attacks. But when the missiles detonated, they released massive electromagnetic pulses, overloading his shield generators. Impossible. He screamed as his ship's systems crashed one by one. Meanwhile, Dr. Wilson made another discovery. Sir, look at these readings from their ground forces. The alien troops were having trouble even standing. Without their quantum network, their enhanced bodies weren't working properly. Colonel Roberts organized the counterattack. Army units emerged from hidden bunkers, engaging the confused alien soldiers. The aliens' advanced weapons and armor meant nothing when they could barely walk straight. In orbit, Earth's secret weapon platforms activated. These simple kinetic weapons, essentially giant railguns, had been disguised as communication satellites. They fired solid metal slugs at the drifting alien ships, punching through their now weakened shields. They never imagined we'd use such basic weapons, Colonel Roberts observed. Their shields are designed to stop energy weapons, not physical objects moving at high speed. The Imperial commander watched in horror as his fleet fell apart. Those ships still functioning tried to retreat, but Earth's disruption field made accurate faster-than-light travel impossible. They were trapped. Dr. Wilson continued monitoring the aliens' biological reactions. Their entire civilization is built around quantum connectivity. Without it, they're lost. It would be like humans suddenly losing the ability to speak or think clearly. Admiral Parker stood at the command center window, watching flashes of light in the sky as more alien ships were destroyed. They thought their greatest strength could never be a weakness. They forgot the most important rule of warfare: never depend completely on one technology. Colonel Roberts received reports from around the world. Earth's forces were advancing everywhere. The alien ground troops surrendered in confusion, unable to fight without their quantum enhancement. Their mighty empire, which had conquered thousands of worlds, was being defeated by what they had called a primitive species. Sir, a young officer called out, we're detecting more quantum disruption than we're causing. The alien ships, their own systems are starting to cascade fail. Their network is collapsing. Dr. Wilson rushed to check the readings. It's like a quantum chain reaction. Their linked systems are falling like dominoes. Admiral Parker nodded grimly. Send word to all Earth forces. Push the advantage now. The real victory is within our grasp. The next hour would decide the fate of humanity. Earth's forces launched their global offensive as the alien fleet drifted in chaos. Admiral Parker stood at his command post, directing the largest coordinated military action in human history. All units, commence Operation Thunderstrike, he ordered. Hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean, massive submarines surfaced. Their missile tubes opened, launching hundreds of kinetic projectiles at the disabled alien ships. From the Arctic and Antarctic, more weapon platforms emerged from under the ice, their railguns charging. Target their largest ships first, Colonel Roberts directed. Don't let them recover their command and control. In space, the alien ships tried desperately to restore their systems. Some managed to get partial power, but without their quantum network, they were fighting blind. Earth's simple projectile weapons, fired from hidden platforms, tore through their confused formations. This is impossible. The Imperial commander smashed his control panel in rage. They are nothing. Primitives. How dare they resist? His flagship, once mighty and fearsome, now drifted helplessly as its systems failed one by one. Dr. Wilson monitored the quantum disruption effects from his lab. The cascade failure is spreading through their entire fleet. Their technology is so interconnected that when one system fails, it drags down the others. On the ground, Earth's armies pressed their advantage. Tanks rolled out of mountain hideouts, their simple diesel engines roaring. The aliens had never considered that primitive combustion engines would be immune to quantum disruption. In North America, a group of alien soldiers stumbled through a forest, their enhanced bodies barely functioning. They had relied so heavily on quantum-linked combat systems that they couldn't fight without them. A small team of human soldiers, using basic rifles and night vision goggles, quickly captured them. "Sir," Colonel Roberts called to Admiral Parker. "The Chinese Space Force reports their kinetic bombardment platforms are in position. They're ready to target the alien fleet's rear formation." Parker nodded. "Give the order. Hit them from all sides." Across Earth's orbit, hidden weapon platforms activated. They fired simple tungsten rods at incredible speeds. The aliens' weakened shields couldn't stop these basic projectiles. Ship after ship exploded as the metal rods pierced their hulls. The Imperial commander watched in horror as his fleet was torn apart by what he had dismissed as primitive weapons. "Full retreat," he screamed. "All ships, emergency withdrawal." But most of his ships couldn't hear the order. Those that did couldn't calculate safe faster than light jumps without their quantum computers. In India, a wing of fighter jets engaged alien ships at low altitude. The Earth pilots used the terrain to their advantage, leading alien fighters into prepared trap zones. Hidden anti-aircraft guns opened fire with conventional rounds, proving that sometimes the old ways were still the best. "Admiral," Dr. Wilson's voice came over the comm, excited. "The quantum disruption is having an unexpected effect on their ship cores. The energy containment fields are failing." They watched as alien ships began to break apart from the inside. Their advanced power systems, deprived of quantum control, started to collapse. Some ships managed emergency shutdowns, but others exploded spectacularly. Colonel Roberts pointed to new data on the main screen. "Look at their formation. They're trying to regroup around their command ships." "Perfect," Admiral Parker smiled. "Spring the trap. Activate all remaining weapon platforms." Around the Earth, the last hidden weapons revealed themselves. Missiles launched from underground silos. Railguns fired from mountain bunkers. Energy weapons, reverse-engineered from crashed alien ships, powered up from secret bases. The alien fleet, already in chaos, now faced attacks from every direction. Ships exploded in silent bursts of light and debris. The mighty armada that had threatened Earth just days ago was being systematically destroyed by the very primitives they had come to conquer. "Send word to all Earth forces," Admiral Parker commanded. "Push forward. Show them no mercy. The galaxy needs to learn what happens when you threaten humanity." The battle for Earth was entering its final phase, and humanity was about to teach the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. The Imperial commander stood on his failing flagship's bridge, watching his mighty fleet fall apart. Warning lights flashed everywhere. Systems that had never failed in 1,000 years of Imperial conquest were shutting down one after another. "No, I will not be defeated by primitives," he roared. His purple eyes glowed with fury as he made his final decision. "Direct all power to the main weapon. Target their largest city. If we die, we take them with us." In the Earth Command Center, Colonel Roberts noticed the energy spike. "Sir, the Imperial flagship is powering up its main cannon. They're targeting New York City." Admiral Parker's face hardened. "Dr. Wilson, What happens if we increase the quantum disruption to maximum power? It might overload their systems completely, Dr. Wilson replied, typing rapidly. But we've never tested it at full strength. The effects could be catastrophic. More catastrophic than losing New York, Parker asked grimly. Do it. Dr. Wilson activated all quantum disruptors at maximum power. The effect was immediate and devastating. Across Earth's orbit, alien ships began to tear themselves apart. Their quantum-based technology couldn't handle the massive disruption. The Imperial flagship's main weapon powered down as its systems failed. But the commander had one last trick. He activated the ship's self-destruct sequence, hoping to take out Earth's atmosphere with the explosion. They're going to blow up their command ship, Colonel Roberts shouted. The explosion will be massive. Admiral Parker acted quickly. Launch Operation Slingshot. Around the Earth, hidden magnetic accelerators powered up. These simple but powerful devices created a magnetic field strong enough to push the dying Imperial ships away from Earth. As the flagship began to explode, the magnetic field hurled it and nearby ships out toward deep space. The explosion lit up the sky like a second sun, but Earth was safe. The blast wave rippled harmlessly through space, taking more alien ships with it. Across the planet, the remaining alien ground forces watched their ships disappear from orbit. Without support, without their quantum network, they were lost. Many surrendered immediately. Others tried to fight but found their advanced weapons useless against Earth's simpler technology. In orbit, the few surviving alien ships tried to flee. But Earth wasn't finished teaching them a lesson. The magnetic accelerators fired again, this time launching swarms of small, simple satellites. These devices attached themselves to the alien ships, broadcasting a simple message throughout space. Let it be known. Admiral Parker's voice transmitted on all frequencies that Earth is not weak. We are not primitive. We are humanity, and we will defend our home against any who threaten us. In his lab, Dr. Wilson studied the captured alien technology. They never developed backup systems, he explained to Colonel Roberts. They thought their quantum network was perfect, unbeatable. That's why they failed. The last Imperial ships vanished into space, carrying news of their defeat. The mighty Galactic Empire, which had conquered thousands of worlds, had been beaten by a species they considered primitive. Admiral Parker walked through the command center, watching cleanup operations on the main screen. Status report, he called out. Sir, Colonel Roberts responded. We've captured over 50 alien ships, mostly intact. Their ground forces are surrendering everywhere. Earth's casualties are far lower than expected, thanks to our preparation. And the quantum disruption. Dr. Wilson looked up from his readings. The effect is permanent in their systems. Even if they repair their ships, they'll have to completely rebuild their technology. They can't use quantum networks against us anymore. Admiral Parker nodded, satisfied. Send word to all Earth governments. The immediate threat is over, but our work is just beginning. We've shown the galaxy that humanity isn't weak. Now we need to show them we can be strong without being cruel. As the sun set on the first day of victory, cleanup crews began collecting alien debris from orbit. Earth had won, but more importantly, humanity had proven something. Sometimes the simplest solutions were the best, and being primitive wasn't always a weakness. The empire had crumbled, but humanity's story was just beginning. 1 month after humanity's victory over the Galactic Empire, Earth was a very different place. In orbit, workers in spacesuits carefully took apart captured alien ships, learning their secrets. On the ground, scientists studied alien technology, finding ways to combine it with human innovation. Admiral Parker stood in the new Global Space Defense Headquarters, built from a converted alien ground base. He watched holographic displays showing Earth's new defense network, a combination of human ingenuity and salvaged alien tech. The latest report from Deep Space Monitoring, Colonel Roberts said, entering the room. Our new sensors show at least 3 other alien empires have changed course to avoid Earth's solar system. Word of our victory is spreading. Dr. Wilson joined them, carrying his ever-present tablet. The interrogations of captured alien officers have been enlightening, he reported. They still can't believe we beat them. Their entire civilization was built on the idea that more advanced technology always wins. And that was their biggest mistake, Admiral Parker replied. They forgot that technology is just a tool. It's how you use it that matters. Around the world, humanity began rebuilding, but differently than before. Every new city included defensive shields, hidden bunkers, and emergency systems. But unlike the aliens, they always installed backup systems using simpler technology. Look at this, Dr. Wilson said, showing them his latest research. We figured out how to use their quantum technology without becoming dependent on it. By keeping our brains free from quantum linking, we can shut it down any time without losing our abilities. In the Pacific Ocean, a new type of ship emerged from an underwater base. It looked like a normal aircraft carrier, but it could transform into a space cruiser. Humanity was taking its first steps toward becoming a spacefaring civilization, but in their own unique way. Colonel Roberts checked another report. The captured alien soldiers are adapting well to life without their quantum network. Some are even asking for asylum. They say we've shown them a better way to live. And the recovered alien database? Admiral Parker asked. A gold mine of information, Dr. Wilson answered excitedly. Star maps, technology blueprints, cultural information about 1,000 alien species. But most importantly, we know where not to make their mistakes. On the Moon, construction began on Earth's first major space defense base. Unlike the Imperial ships that were all connected to one network, each Earth installation was designed to work independently if needed. Sir, a young officer called out, we're detecting a transmission from the edge of the solar system. It's from other worlds that want to break free from the Empire. Admiral Parker smiled. Earth's victory had started a chain reaction. Other species who had been conquered by the Empire saw hope for the first time. They wanted to learn humanity's secrets, not the technology, but the spirit that had let them win against impossible odds. The galaxy's changing, Colonel Roberts observed. And we're leading that change. Not through conquest, like the Empire, Admiral Parker replied, but by showing their strength in being different, in thinking differently. Dr. Wilson looked up from his work. Some of the alien scientists we captured have started working with us. They say our primitive approach to science is opening new possibilities they never imagined. By not relying on quantum networks for everything, we're finding new solutions. Earth's first diplomatic ship prepared for launch. It would visit the worlds that wanted independence, not to conquer them like the Empire, but to help them find their own path to freedom. We beat them because we stayed true to ourselves, Admiral Parker said, watching the ship take off. Now we'll help others do the same. As the sun set on another day of Earth's new era, humanity looked to the stars with confidence. They had faced the greatest power in the galaxy and won. Not because they were stronger or more advanced, but because they refused to be what others thought they should be. The Empire had called them primitive. Instead, they had proven themselves to be something far more important, uniquely and proudly human. The end.